Okay, The Wiz is a coming-of-age story of a young woman called Dorothy. It's a great story about friendship. It's a great story about the adventures that you have when you go through any journey. I like journey stories a lot. I think they're just magnificent because we are changed by the end of it. I play two characters. I play Aunt Em and Ada Pearl. Aunt Em, as we know from The Wiz and from The Wizard of Oz story, is Dorothy's long-suffering aunt, who's been taking care of her, who Dorothy seems to get into a bit of friction with at the beginning of the show, and which makes her question her whole idea of home and where home is and what home means. And then I play Ada Pearl, which is the first of the magic characters that Dorothy encounters when she lands in Oz. I'm one of the witches. There are originally 4 witches in Oz, and then you'll see what happens to them as they go along. And Ada Pearl is great. She's a fantastic. Aunt Em is very much like characters that I've played before, that really caring, benevolent mother type. But Ada Pearl is fantastic because she's this great big mess of fun. It's turbulent. She is like a mini tornado, the tornado that picks Dorothy up and sets her down, and then Dorothy meets kind of mess of a woman in Ada Pearl, who's quite fun. So I'm really looking forward to playing both of them, and they come one after the other as well. So it's going to be great fun and quite a challenge doing those 2 characters and separating them and seeing how I can do that. That has been a question that I've always asked myself, and it's been an important question in my life. I've travelled extensively. I've been on stage in Trinidad since I was 8 years old, and I've travelled extensively. And I always questioned whether home was in Trinidad, which I love, and I grew up there, and it was great, and I would never change or want to give back my upbringing there. But I remember the first time I landed in London. I've travelled a lot, and the first time I landed in London in 1998, I remember it so clearly. It felt very much like home. It did feel very much like home, and I had only come at that point. I was invited to sing at a few concerts, and so I'd only come for a few months. And then I remember when I was leaving, I always knew that I would come back, and I always knew that I would make it my home. And then 2 years later I had the opportunity to do that. And so in 2000 I came once again to do one play, and then life happened in that way, and London became home for me. The British Isles and all the wonderful things that it gives and brings. So London is very much my home.